On today's episode of Where's Brian, we'll be working with the division that helps connect local residents with some friendly faces. The staff in this division handle thousands of guests each year. Do you know where I am today? I'm Brian Phillips. On most days, I work in an office for the Ames City Manager. Since starting here, I've learned a lot about the different jobs city employees have. Many of them you might see every day. Others work behind the scenes to provide quality programs and exceptional service to the community. And that's why I'm here, to experience the different jobs the City of Ames has to offer. You never know where I'll go next. The Ames Animal Shelter provides safe and humane care of homeless, unwanted, or lost animals. The shelter is open for public visitation 30 hours per week and by appointment. Animal control officers are available for community response 7 days a week. Good morning, Lorna. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
So maybe before we start today, you could give us a little bit of a background about how the animal shelter works. How many people work here? What is it that you do?
Yep. So the Ames Animal Shelter and Animal Services has a shelter. We're kind of unique that way. We have a combined Humane Society effort with an animal services and animal control program out in the community. So we respond to over 2,000 calls for assistance a year out in the field, and that's with animal control calls. Anything from bite cases, cruelty, neglect, strays in need, wildlife, raccoons in the chimney, and we're having some issues with a beaver out in one of the residential areas of town, taking down trees and blocking a waterway. So those are the kind of field calls we do. Here at the shelter, we have open hours, a responsible adoption program, spay-neuter incentives, lost and found, and basically we're proud that the animals that come in, most of the time they're leaving in much better condition than when they arrived.
So how many people work at the animal shelter?
We have 4.2 FTEs. That means an FTE is a full-time employee. So we have a combined full-time and part-time to give us 4.2 FTEs. So about 170 to 175 hours of work total per week.
Okay. And do you utilize volunteers at all?
We do. We have 40 active volunteers at a time. Our volunteer program is popular, and so we get over 200 requests a year, but it would be difficult to manage that number. So we keep 40 active volunteers per year.
Okay. How many animals are at the animal shelter on a regular basis?
In the winter, we're down to about 25 to 30 animals at the shelter. The highest number we've had in the summer is 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges with bringing visitors into the animal shelter?
Well, we provide 30 to 35 normal hours a week that we want people to visit, and we invite them in. One of the challenges is that we have known and unknown animal backgrounds here at the shelter, and then we invite people and volunteers to come back into that mix. So safety and health are real concerns. And they're in individual cages that can be disinfected properly for a reason, and that is to keep everyone safe. So in shelter environments, we want to eliminate the spread of ringworm, of upper respiratory infections, of parvoviruses. And often people want to come in and just have kind of almost like a petting zoo atmosphere where they can take multiple animals out and just have playtime. And it's very important that we not do that because it would cause disease spread. Every time you move animals around in shared spaces, you're creating more of a challenge to keep them safe from. So with our volunteer program, we have training and a clean program that allows people to come in and interact with animals and get them out of the cages, provide them social time and exercise, and keep everybody safe. So we prefer to do it through our volunteer program.
Okay. Well, maybe you could give us a quick preview of what we're going to be doing today, or what I'll be doing today.
Okay. You are going to learn about one aspect of animal care here in the shelter. You'll be working with Emily. You'll be back in the cat room today. And Emily does a great job back there, and I think a lot of people will be surprised to know all the things that she has to think about in order to keep animals and people safe here at the animal shelter.
Okay, well, I'm ready to go if you want to lead the way.
Just follow me.
Okay. Good morning, Emily. How are you?
Morning. Good. How are you?
So before we get started, maybe you could tell us a little bit about how many cats we have here and what we're going to be doing today.
Yep. Right now we have about 25 cats in 3 separate rooms. The room we're in now is our main adoption room. So after strays come in and go through their 7-day hold period, or after they go through an adjustment period of being put up for adoption, they get brought into this room. Like I said, this is our main adoption room where the visitors come in. You know, they can literally reach out and touch a new best friend, hopefully. What we're going to be doing today is cleaning and feeding. And they're kind of in a routine where it can be done at the same time, so it sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is.
Okay. And you said that there was an adjustment period or a holding period when cats come in here?
Right.
Explain that.
In a facility like this, you're asking a lot of the animals. There's constantly strangers coming in, peering into their cages, poking into their cages. They've never seen these people before in their lives. They're in a new stressful environment with, like I said, 20 other cats around. If they're cat stressed, all those other smells, pheromones, stress levels just rise. And so when you add humans coming in on that, it really impacts that. So what we do, we have an intake room where all of our strays and new cats put up for adoption go into. It's a smaller room, so smaller stress levels, smaller noise levels. It just helps their adjustment period, and it doesn't have the added stress of having strangers staring in on them at all the time.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to get to work if you want to show me what we're going to be doing.
Awesome. The first step is grab a pair of gloves.
Okay.
It's the easiest way to keep sanitary between the cages. Even though the cats may not be dirty, they always have bacteria, viruses, that kind of thing that could be transmissible to other cats. Just like we can't ever see the common cold virus when we pick it up from somebody else necessarily. Okay, so what we're going to do today is be cleaning the cat cages. The first step we do when we come in the morning is check to make sure you have bright eyes from everybody. Make sure they're not, feeling gross, feeling down. If they are, then we'll note it on our notepad so we can keep track of that. If it becomes a recurring fashion, then we'll take them to the vet. So the first step, everybody gets fed half a cup of food, and grab a stack of papers here.
Okay.
We do regulate how much food everybody has. If we regulate how much goes in, it's a lot easier to regulate how much goes out as well.
Okay.
That's a great factor to keep track of their health. If they have loose stools, it can be stress, it can be overfeeding, it could be a number of other things. So if we constantly know how much food is going in, it's a little easier to watch. Just use a little bit of disinfectant on the paper towel. And what we're going to do, grab their food bowl, and most of them know this routine. I'll let them get a little taste of it down on the ground while I'm cleaning their upper shelf. And basically, you're looking for smears of paws down the side of the thing. Some of them may get a little excited, covering up their business in the boxes.
Okay.
So you'll want to get that off the cages. My theory kind of is, if I see they're dirty, as an adopter, I'm going to think they're going to do that same thing in my house.
Sure.
So they have boxes to sleep in. A lot of it is a comfort thing. So we'll need to dump those out and relay their blanket if they have blankets in there. And the boxes can just go up top for now. And he's kind of being a pistol. The idea is for them to stay up on their shelf and eat, so you can get everything done underneath.
So he's a little interested in what's going on.
He's very interested in what's going on. And we lay the newspapers in the bottom so we can just take everything out in one fell swoop. And then we'll do the litter box later. Like I said, same thing with the sides. Just make sure you're getting the chunks out. If they're sneezing, you'll have some sneeze spray and that kind of thing. Gray, you need to stay up there, buddy. and then wiping all the litter and paper debris from the bottom of the cages, and it can just go on the floor because we'll make a mess down there anyway by the time we're done.
Okay.
Then the next step is to do a couple layers of paper. And this is just so to ease cleanup. You saw how easy it was just to pull the whole piece out. We'll give him his box back. And then had he stayed up on his shelf, we reward with some of kitty treats when you go to take the bowl of food away.
Okay.
It also helps if they, sometimes the strays will be a little food aggressive. So if you distract them with the treats, it will help with that. And the next thing to do is wipe out the rest of the debris that didn't come out. That's a good boy. Here you go. Yay, breakfast.
So is this a process that we do once a day, or
Yes.
how often?
I work 4 hours a day. That's split between cleaning the dog kennels and doing all the cat cages. It gives us a chance to check everybody's health, make sure they're doing okay, and get everybody nice and presentable for the public.
Okay.
So, spot checks are done in the afternoons if somebody's totally destroyed their cages or eaten breakfast a little bit too quickly and have it come back up. If anybody's familiar with cats, they know about the food bullets. So you'll want to get a little pump of hand sanitizer and rub it around until it's dry. If you start when it's wet or start doing other things, then you're not necessarily killing all those germs that you could. And we should be ready.
So if I am a cat owner and I lose my cat, say he runs away, how would I go about trying to find the animal and communicating with you?
Yep. The best thing to do is call our office number, leave a message, just kind of stating what you just said. You lost your cat. What do I need to do? Someone will call you back and go through a number of steps where we will take a lost report. I believe we keep them for 4 months. We will tell you to put their litter box outside, a soiled litter box, especially if you have them. Even something that small, that safety of their smell can bring them back home. Flyers around the neighborhood, ads on Craigslist, ads in the newspaper. Then what happens is if we bring in a cat as a stray or someone else finds it, we will go through those lost reports that we have and call anybody that remotely matches. You know, same sex, same, declawed, no non-declawed, that kind of thing, and have you come in and say, yes, that's my cat, no, that's my cat, but they do share these distinguishing features. And we'll just continue to call you back. Every time you call back in with a new lost report, we will keep that for that additional time again.
Okay. So if a cat comes in, a stray cat, how long would you keep that animal here?
The strays are kept for a minimum of 7 days before they go up for adoption, and that's where our overflow room comes in again. We generally try to keep them isolated from the main population for at least 4 to 5 days, depending on the room in our overflow room. A number of reasons. Again, the whole adjustment period. You want them to have decreased stress before you move them into the main room. Another factor is you want that owner to be able to come claim them without the cat going up for adoption or somebody getting attached to that cat. Especially with the younger 4 or 5 month old kittens. People come in here, if they go straight into this main adoption room, people are going to say, oh, I have to have that cat, get so attached to it, so invested in it, and an owner comes back on the 7th day and says, hey, that's my cat, then you have to go through all that heartbreak, and it's really just not good customer service.
Sure. All right, I think I'm ready to do more cages.
Awesome. You can go ahead and move these down a bit so they're handy for you. And our next young fella is on a little bit of a special diet. He's had some vomiting and a little bit of diarrhea, so he's on an EN food, which is just a little bit more sensitive on his stomach. It doesn't have the harsh proteins that a lot of the other food does. So.
And what does the purple tag mean
The
here?
purple tag means he is on a temporary hold. Somebody is looking at adopting him.
Okay.
I think we are holding him because of the loose stools. Not sure whether he's going to need additional medication or whether it's just a stress management type thing.
So it might be just temporary.
Yep, definitely.
From being here.
And other reasons to have a temporary hold, if somebody's really interested in adopting, but they don't know if they're allowable by the landlord or parent or roommate, that kind of thing, we can put a 24-hour temporary hold on them. And so that means that person has adoption rights to that pet, but we will still take names for other interested parties. So, for instance, Ben doesn't miss out on somebody else potentially adopting him.
Okay. All right, so we need to sanitize?
Yep.
I noticed some of the cats have some toys in here. What do we do to keep the pets occupied while they're here at the animal shelter?
Yep, and that's a great thing. Pipe cleaners work wonderfully. They're cheap, they're easily disposable, and great for entertainment. They can go on the cage, in the cage, attached to other toys. We also use different jingle balls or catnip toys, cloth toys, that kind of thing. And I'll rotate those generally on a 2 to 3 day basis just to keep their interests up. We also have cat volunteers that will come out. We have wonderful volunteers that will spend anywhere from 5 minutes to half an hour with our longer term cats, just getting them out of the cage, giving them stimulation, and letting them still know that they're loved even if they're not in a perfect home environment yet.
Okay, so we've got
your food,
got
and
some
you
food.
need your disinfectant towel.
Yes, that's right.
And it's kind of overwhelming when you first start it. I've been here for 4.5 years now, so I have quite the routine set down. So the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Back up. Got some food for you. Under your shelf. Come on. Up there.
Is his shelf clean?
Actually, all these steps. There we go. There we go. Now he can go up there, right?
Now he can go up there.
Okay.
And he may need some help because he's a lover boy. Yep, just
Over
like
here,
that,
buddy.
right under the chest and right underneath his bottom.
Okay. So now we wipe down the sides.
Yep.
So what's the process if somebody's looking to adopt a pet? What's the process for them to come in and take a look at the animals?
Yeah, the best way is our open hours are Mondays and Saturdays, noon to 4, and Tuesdays through Fridays, noon to 5:30. Just come out, and you're welcome to come back into our main adoption room, take a look around, and if there's anybody that particularly interests you or anything else, bring their name up to the front, and we'll have one of the staff members help you get them out of the cage. We have play and social rooms, so you can spend some time with them, see how they interact with you, and that kind of thing. Yep, go straight into the dumpster with that. Yep. And we'll check his real quick to see how he's doing. This is another, I talked about the what goes in, what goes out. Kind of sift around a little bit. And he does still have some loose stool, so we'll need to make note of that, that it's still not getting any better.
Okay.
Another thing we can look for in the stool is factors of parasites. So, and you can just give that a shake on just enough to get the larger chunks of sawdust off.
Okay.
We can look for instances of, you can hang it on the back of his cage.
Back here?
Yep. Tapeworms will look like little chunks of rice in the stool, and roundworms will look like little strings of spaghetti. And so those are both intestinal parasites that we can be treated, that they can be treated for, and something that will easily lead to them being more comfortable and healthy animals. Back to the adoption, like I said, if you find somebody that you like, bring their name up to the front. We'll get you in a social room. And then if you decide that you do want to adopt them, we have a adoption form that you can fill out, just basically making sure that you're allowed to have pets where you live. Ames being a college town is a big thing with landlords agreeing or disagreeing with that. You want to put your papers in first so he doesn't run away.
Okay. Oh, we got him up here.
and just making sure that everybody in the family is open to having a new pet, understanding the monetary commitments involved. It can be, up to $200 for that first year of vet visits, surgeries to be spayed and neutered, and toys and that kind of thing. So it's just making sure that you know what you're getting into. Then we have a 24-hour wait period after that adoption process. So we have time to check all of our resources. Yep.
Treats.
Treats, yep.
You did a
He's
good
been
job.
a good boy. Check all of our resources, and it avoids a lot of the impulse adoptions.
Up here.
If you have to wait 24 hours, sometimes people will go home and kind of think, do I really need that cat? Is it the right time? So then they can always call back the next day and say, I really can't do it at this time, release my name from that adoption and let somebody else try for him.
Okay.
Then after that 24 hours, you come and pay your $40 adoption fee, and that includes all of their wormings, flea treatment, and their distemper. The only thing that you would be responsible for is the rabies shot, which is the one shot that's required by state law.
Are we doing sawdust again?
Yep, he is sawdust.
Okay. So we make sure that they're pretty much ready to go by the time they go back out.
Right, and the only reason we can't offer the rabies shot is because the rabies shot has to be done by a licensed veterinarian, which we don't have on staff.
Okay.
And it also helps people when they're responsible for doing something, it makes them have a little bit better of a connection with their veterinarian also. They have to make that effort to go out and make that relationship with their veterinarian. Where if we would do everything, there's no guarantee really that animal would actually ever make it back to the vet for checkups and that kind of thing.
Sure. Does this blanket just kind of lay like this? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
He's good to go.
And then this can come back up front. All right, and that's another cage done.
Nice job.
Thanks. All right, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to show us what it's like to take care of the cats. I'll get out of your hair if you want to keep finishing up around here.
Yep, no
Thanks
problem.
very much.
Thanks for coming today.
Yep. Today we got to see a small part of how the Ames Animal Shelter provides safe and humane care to our animal friends. If you'd like to adopt a pet, check out our website or give the shelter a call at 239-5530. And be sure to tune in for the next Where's Brian, because you'll never know where I'll go next.
That kind of thing, and have you come in and say, well, I found my cat, so it's not mine, or he's chewing on the cord.
The highest number we've had in the summer is 65.
Okay.
Yep.
And what are we going to be doing today?
Well, today we're just going to talk a little bit about what, I don't know.
That's okay.
We wanted to get the...
Make sure that we're not sharing germs between cages.
Can we pause? I already broke my glove.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Now you change that.
I just need one.
Okay.
We might want some spares though.